third Thursday of each month is all about me sitting in the hot seat for up to an hour answering any of your questions. And I shouldn't even say up to an hour. I go as long as you go. So however long your questions go is how long I'm willing to go. And last month, you and Jerry did an awesome job. So we selected 2 winners, and we did Jerry's interview last month. We did your interview this month. We already selected our winner for next month. And so I'm getting ready to shut up and you get to put me in the hot seat. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So I kind of wanted to do a little bit of an introduction. I think I first saw you on my ePro CE class. You were an instructor.
Yes.
And then the next time I saw you was at WCR in San Diego.
So
and two totally different marquees.
So here, let me say this. It is 2 totally different marquees. And I've had to ask NAR over the years, which marquee do they want? And maybe about 2 years ago, they told me they always want the animated marquee. I don't need to bring the little polished scripted marquee. They don't want her anymore. So the ePro, they gave us a script, right? It's right? With the Women's Council, it was just probably me spinning around in the middle of the floor, right? So NAR has officially told me they never, ever, ever again want the because I can be very scripted and tone it down and we can go just like this. And they was like, we don't want her anymore. And so I'm pretty sure the ePro, because we recorded that, oh my goodness, probably 6-7 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if it was me and Maurice Hampton or me and out of, he owns a Century 21 in Philadelphia. It's going to come to me, Bill Lublin, who did that record. And I'm not sure which one, but it was and they give you a script and a teleprompter and it's run. So you won't get that marquee anymore.
Good. I like this marquee better.
Thank you.
I saw you on the Canva presentation at in San Diego and loved your energy, loved, how much you have achieved over the years and admire you for that.
Thank you.
And some of that inspired me to join 6 and 12 from doing your Canva classes too. I am from Guyana in South America, raised by a single mom and a grandma. And some of what you say in that you cannot succeed by being lazy. Love those words. My mom said a lot of don't cry over spilled milk because you can't pick it back up and put it in the glass, clean it up and move on. Kind of makes me tough. And sometimes I have to remember that there's empathy in there because sometimes I say the same things to my daughter and she's like, Mom, could you just not be empathetic? Could you always just say, just get on with it and move on? So our parents make us who we are and proud of what you're done and so happy that you're sharing it with all of us.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I've been a realtor for about 4 years now and a real estate investor, I would say, for about 8. Got divorced, had some extra money from my home sale and thought it was better to invest than to not pay PMI at the time. That was my choice. And because the extra investment brings money in, right? The PMI can be paid off. My husband now does flips. So he helps me rehab those and I turn those over. So that's it about me and my background. I'm a new realtor, still learning every day and trying to grasp as much as you put down. It's tough sometimes because you do put down a lot. So just trying to keep up. And that's a little bit about me.
Be patient with yourself. And my goal personally is to try to learn one new thing every single day. And it could be something as simple as use Waze and drive a different way home, right? Mm-hmm. To explore and see a way I've never seen before. And then at one point it was, before I ate sushi, it was, today you will try sushi. And I didn't like sushi at first, and now I love it. But every single day, trying to do something new or different, because the way that we do it isn't necessarily always the best way. And acknowledging that means then you're open to all these different opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So I guess my first question for you would be, what advice do you give to someone on selecting a mentor so they meet the right people to go where they want to go?
So my first mentor in the world of real estate, I did not select. He selected me, actually. His name is Frank Williams. I talk about Frank all the time. And let me tell you why I trusted Frank to be my mentor when he initially approached me. My family's been in business in the Chicagoland area since 1954. I had these magnets. They were called conversion magnets. It had my picture on there, and it had the conversion kitchen. It was a kitchen conversion chart magnet. So at Lamb's Barbecue, my conversion magnet was not on the wall, but Frank Williams' calendar was on the wall every single year. And I had said something to my grandfather about it once I realized that Frank was in real estate. And my grandfather was like, girl, that man been eating here longer than you are old. I will not be taking his magnet down. So when Frank Williams introduced himself to me, I already knew who he was. And I knew that my grandfather trusted him. And when he found out who my grandfather was, he told me that he was available to me. And two great pieces of advice that he gave me. He said, one, you should become a licensed real estate educator. He said, because that means you will always be at the front of the room and people cannot act like they don't know your name. And he told me to volunteer more in order to be able to volunteer at a higher level. So I didn't necessarily pick Frank, but Frank was my first mentor. Now, over the years, Frank has told me, basically, baby doll, I've taken you as far as I can take you. I think that you should reach out and get other mentors who can take you farther. And what did he mean by that? Frank is an icon here in the city of Chicago. He's connected throughout the state of Illinois, and he is in all of the NAR fair housing videos, but he had never taught on a national level. So he was telling me that I needed someone who had taught on a national level to be my mentor to help me navigate that, because that was something that he did not know. And at first I kind of felt bad, like I was cheating on him. And so my next mentor became Terry Watson. Now, I had long admired Terry. I remember standing at the back of the room when he was teaching at 76 and what was that street? Pulaski, at one of our branch locations for the Chicago Association of Realtors. And I'm like, I want to be like him. How does he remember 8 hours worth of content? And so he had taught for RIA, which is the Real Estate Education Association, a class in Vegas. And I had him for 3 days and I befriended him, and he kind of just assumed the role, right, of being my mentor. And so a mentor is two things. Do not select, don't even approach anybody unless you're going to take heed to the advice of which they give you, right? So a lot of people reach out to people to pick their brains, but they never put anything into action. What I will tell you, anyone who is given of their time to you freely, they want you to take action. They don't need you to call to tell them, because they're going to see or hear it. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're going to keep up with it, right? And the more you implement, the more they're willing to give you. So the reason that I think I've had a very good relationship with all of my mentors is the fact that they see me implementing. And what comes about over time is that we develop a peer-to-peer mentoring relationship, because there are things that I can teach Frank now, right? That Frank knows nothing about with the social media, technology, and things of that nature. Same thing would be true with Terry Watson. But you want to pick someone, well, one, you want to have a business plan and you want to be clear about what it is you need, like what you need to move forward. So you talked about rehab and flipping houses with your husband. I flipped houses at one time. At that point, I was looking to people who was flipping houses, right? I'm not going to go to the person now to flip houses if I don't have any intentions on ever flipping houses. And so identify that person who is where you would like to go. Mm-hmm. Come from contribution And so see how you can help them. What is that one thing that you could do for them? Something that'll make life easy for them, right? Maybe you heard them complain that, I don't know, not even complain. They want some Garrett's popcorn. I'm going to send you some Garrett's popcorn before I come and ask you, hey, can we spend some time together? So what I knew about Frank Williams is that he loved soul food. So I would take him out for soul food because I knew he liked Izola's. He liked Army and Loot. Like, these are all the places we've been. We've been to all the soul food restaurants on the Chicago South Side. I knew that he liked Garrett's popcorn. I even know the liquor that he likes. And so I was always sending him a little gift or something, right? And he didn't ask for it. And meeting at the place that he wanted to meet, just to make sure that he was getting something and that I was listening to him as well. So come up with a short list of people. And let me say this, it might not be a long-term relationship. It could simply just be a lunch. The reason I am a CRS certified instructor, craziest meeting ever, I knew who Lee Brown was. At the time, she was the president of the Residential Real Estate Council, formerly CRS. We were both speaking at Triple Play. A good friend of ours from New Jersey, he might even be on here, invited us both to dinner. And at that dinner, she said to me, she says, Marky, I believe you make more money than a CRS instructor makes, but we need diversity within the CRS family. This is before it was RRC. And Lee mentored and coached me through that process, right? So sometimes it might just be one process or one lunch or one dinner. But if that person pours into you and gives you anything of value that you're able to go back and implement in your business, I give them all the credit of being a mentor.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you use to track email open rates on email marketing?
So I use a platform called Kajabi. Before Kajabi, I was using MailChimp. Before MailChimp, I was using ActiveCampaign. Before ActiveCampaign, I was using Infusionsoft, known as Confusionsoft. And so I've invested in an email marketing platform now for, 15 years. And those platforms are going to tell me my open rate, my click-through rate. Now, and then we work with headlines and if we should include emojis and what's the subject and all of that great stuff. The reason I use Kajabi is because it's an all-in-one platform. So when you listen to a lot of the different sales gurus, people have like 10, 15 different websites and back-end tools that they're using. It's no way to ever master those tools. So I wanted to put myself in a position, instead of me going from this site, connect to this site, and this site connects to that site, that I wanted a portal that essentially I could do everything inside of that one portal so that I could then master that one tool to be more efficient and effective with using that tool. And so if I wasn't using Kajabi, I still would have been on MailChimp. And the reason I would have still been using MailChimp is because, one, I've been using it for some time. It was easy to use. They have landing pages inside of it. So you could build out your different landing pages and your sales funnels. And it is a recognized email platform with great analytics on the back end. So I definitely measure my emails and the income that the emails generate. My email list is sacred to me. Might not be sacred to everybody, but it's sacred to me. So you'll notice that I don't allow other people to market to my list. So I'm not selling a list. I'm not trying to bring in a whole bunch of other products and sell it to you. I tell people all the time, they'll say, oh, young lady interviewed me. We were on a call for about an hour. Tell you what, she's never followed up. She wanted me to come and do a program for her. She's a young entrepreneur. And because I said I would do it. And she says, well, I want you to promote this event on social media and to your email list. I said, I have no problems with promoting it on social media, but I will not be emailing to my list your program. right? And she never followed up. So people want access to that list. You want to respect that list. You want to build trust with the list, because people will unsubscribe, and you should anticipate you're going to have some people that unsubscribe. But I don't want people to unsubscribe because I forgot the value of them, right? And not spamming them and sending them everything.
Yeah, okay. Because for right now, I use, and it's one that is provided by our company. I use Market Leader to send out email campaigns. So I get a newsletter every month and birthday and holiday stuff. But you never know if somebody's opening the mail. It would tell you if somebody like opens the mail and is browsing the website, but you never get like how many people open the mail or what they did. You have to go individually to each person, and then you can see what mail they open. So it's kind of frustrating. That was asking that question.
So you say you're using Market Leader?
Yes.
Okay. So I would want to know, could you reach directly out to Market Leader to see? One, I do believe that you can find those analytics. I just don't know if you would have to upgrade the subscription to be able to get that information. Market Leader. So back in the day when I was a partner in the Keller Williams franchise, we basically, Market Leader came through Keller Williams. I'm going back, oh my God, probably 15 years ago. And I loved Market Leader for lead generation, and somebody saying you will have to upgrade to the Pro account.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, because I know that they have that analytics because they've been around. It was a tool that we were loving when it debuted with Keller Williams. And I was doing with the Market Leader website. Here would be an example of the marketing that I'm pretty sure you could still do. I would go to my Market Leader website and I might pull South Loop short sales or South Loop foreclosures. And then I would go to Craigslist. Let's let you know how long ago this was. And I would do an ad for South Loop short sales and put that link back to my Market Leader, because Market Leader had that opt-in box and people were opting in. Like I was making a lot of money off of Craigslist. And so I do know that there's some unique features, and that was one that I was using it for when foreclosures and short sales were hot. I was picking 60653, 60615, all of these areas that people were searching for. And then I was going over to Craigslist to place ads to get them to come back to the Market Leader website to opt in.
Okay.
And that was a long time ago. That was like 15 years ago. Yeah, it was Craigslist and Market Leader, and I wasn't spending any money. And I was running them suckers religiously.
That brings up another question. You have talked about foreclosure, and I think you did a short sale class at one point. We know because all the equity we've had over the last few years that we're not going to have short sales.
Right.
We're going to have foreclosures and notice of default. Are you planning on doing a class on that or a master class on it?
I am planning on doing a master class. It would be an updated version. At first, I was going to do it as a standalone class. And then I decided that I would bring it in just up under 6 and 12 and do, one version of this class each month, because under the ADPR, which is the Accredited Distressed Property Representative, it was 4 3-hour classes. The first class was short sales, the result of foreclosures, where we would sit down and go over the timeline of the foreclosure process. And of course, each state is different. And then the second class was mastering real estate financing in a shifting market. Generally, with distressed real estate, you have updates and repairs that are needed, and the value of the 203K and other purchase rehab programs, including hard money loans. And then the third class is, the third class would be all about the different short sale forms, because you got to get your authorization to release and different paperwork that you won't have in a traditional real estate transaction. So we give you the whole forms library. And then the fourth class is Market Yourself for Success with Distressed Real Estate, where we talk about that direct mail campaign and even soliciting buyers for properties. But when the foreclosure market came about, I had a lot of cash on hand. And so we were doing direct mail campaigns to homeowners where notice of default had been filed. And I would mail to them continuously that I was willing to buy their house for cash. Now, what I would do that was a little different, here in the state of Illinois, we have what is called a notice of no agency. When I would go meet with them, I would have to give them a notice of no agency because my goal really was to buy their house. It was a way that I was creating inventory for myself. And I didn't want them to think that I was representing them. But I would always say, but if you want to list your house, this is what you can list your house for. And amazingly, every person listed with me because I was very forthcoming with the numbers. If I buy your house, I'm going to buy it for this amount of money. I'm going to put this amount of money into it, and I'm looking to make a 20% return on my investment. However, if someone's not an investor, they would be willing to pay you this amount, but I can't pay you that amount and make my margins. And because I was honest with them about those numbers, they listed with me. So we will do a version of it. The reason that we have not brought that class is because I am consistently talking with our title company here to see if we're seeing an increase in the amount of notice of defaults. And we really haven't seen any substantial volume come through yet on notice of defaults being filed, which is why we haven't brought the class back. It seems like the courts are just a little slow to process notice defaults, but we haven't seen a substantial increase. And I was waiting for there to be a substantial increase, well, somewhat of an increase, so that when we bring the course back, the timing is great, as opposed to me teaching it too soon. And then people are going to have questions if it comes, 4 months or half a year later. Yeah.
Yeah. And have the interest too.
And yeah, right. So I want that time in the hit. And let me be honest with you, I've been waiting 2 years to bring the class back because the timing still has not hit. So yeah, 2 years.
What's your advice for new agents on how to handle time management and not get distracted?
So my advice is to live by your calendar. I've always lived by a calendar. I'm that girl who was in high school who had a planner in high school, right? Because I had a lot of after school activities and I've always had a job because I've always worked for my family. And so I was very strategic about my time very early in life. I want to go back to probably the age of 14. I was living off of my schedule then. And let me tell you one of the reasons why. When I went to high school, I was under the impression that I was getting ready to be let loose and that I could go to all the parties because my mother said, when you graduate from 8th grade, you can start going to high school parties. So I came home. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to this party, this party, this party. My mother said, absolutely not. She says you can go to one party every other week. So strategically pick your parties to go to the best parties and people will think you've been to them all. And she was absolutely right. She says, and each year you'll get a little bit more freedom. So I thought I'm getting ready to go to every party, every Friday, Saturday night, I'm getting ready to run the streets. I got to go to one party every other weekend. So I had to strategically I picked the weekends I was going to work versus the parties versus when I'm going to get my hair done so I can show up at the party cute so I can sweat the hair out, right? So you want to have a calendar and we have to start with money-making activities first. So when we came up with the 6 figures in 12 months and the 8x8, one of the reasons most agents don't make the amount of money they want to make is simply because they don't lead generate. Lead generation is at the foundation of your business. Nothing should come before lead generation. And oftentimes we do what we enjoy doing the most, right? So I see a lot of agents and I go look at their numbers and they ain't making no money, but they at every single party. Well, you could go to every single party, right? If you get your lead generation out the way first. But you have to put it on your calendar. So you don't want to have a calendar just for the sake of having a calendar. You want to have a calendar that has money-making opportunities on it first. And I just had this conversation. Who did I have it with? Finance of America. We don't have a business plan. So one of the reasons I have always been successful in real estate is because I've always had a business plan. Always, since day one. When I left the barbecue business, I was an unwedded mother. I came into real estate. I knew exactly how much money I needed to make. And that first year, which was 1999, I needed to make $48,000. So I originated $96,000 in fees. I was on a 50-50 split with the mortgage company I worked for, and I made $48,837, just enough to pay my bills in 1999. And so as my business grew and I decided to pivot to real estate sales and leave the lending side of the business, my goal for 2014, things that definitely changed was, oh, if I'm going to do this, I can make $240,000. I had a business plan. I made $242,000. And so it's always about that calendar with lead generation activities first, but what that business plan says. So I went through a company called Synergy Solutions. And at that time, to tell you what the difference is in my marketing, I ran a classified ad in the back of the Sun-Times every single day. Every day I ran this classified ad. Some things I did I shouldn't have been doing. I had bus benches, which today in Chicago you would not see. I had billboards, which today in Chicago you would not see, and that's only because of the weather. Like if there's no visibility, you would not see them, and they would not give me a reimbursement because you didn't see them today. I was doing a monthly direct mail piece, and I was even doing house values at the time, which I guess would kind of be like a Zillow or something of that nature. It was one of the first sites back in the day called House Values. And I was doing these marketing campaigns every single day. Now, the classified ad in the back of the Sun-Times generated me 6 calls every day. That's why I was running it, because it worked from day one. And I ran those classified ads probably up until 2006 or 7 is when I stopped, only because I understood that because of antitrust, all of the real estate companies in Chicago would not pull their ads, but they didn't believe in the value of the newspaper ads anymore because they had seen a decline. No one was willing to pull first, even though they weren't seeing any return. But because I knew why they wouldn't pull their ads, because it could be viewed as antitrust, and then the Sun-Times and the Tribune could sue all of these companies at that time, I pulled my ads based on, I guess, inside information. So you want to have that calendar, and you got to have that business plan. And those are 2 things that I think most agents don't follow and don't have.
Yeah, my problem is the following it. I have the calendar, and sometimes it's so easy to get distracted, or you jump off the calendar for something and then you don't get back to doing the things you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, because we're self-employed and we can do whatever we want to do, right?
Yeah, not always though.
but always think about that lead generation. So there are some days that I don't feel like posting, or I just don't feel like posting, right? When I tell you every time I post, whether a lead comes from the posting or not, the lead comes. So yesterday I swore I got this new job because I had made this post. I didn't get the job because of the new post. I got the job because David Knox referred the job to me. But it was because I took that action. So even the power of the law of attraction. And I also encourage everybody to watch the movie The Secret. We watch it once every year. I just bought Rhonda Rhimes' new book because I do believe in manifestation. I affirm, vision board, all of it. I have it. And here's one thing I will say. It didn't manifest according to my time, but everything that was on that vision board, like I need to update it, has manifested itself.
So what advice would you give for, and you haven't talked much about this, but this is something I do, and I cannot see the fruits of my labor so far. So I've been doing neighborhood farming, and probably, I would say for 2 years now, I do it every other month to my neighborhood. I have not seen a single thing from it. I've seen other realtor signs go up, I don't see a realtor that owns our neighborhood because it's all different realtors. But what do you suggest? Is there something I'm not doing right, or am I wasting my time? I looked at the turnover rate and it's got about 6%. So I thought I did homework.
Tell me exactly what you're doing.
So what I'm doing is sending a postcard out once every 2 months. There are times I would just put the neighborhood stats on it, like how many homes sold. These are the recent sales in the neighborhood, just for where I'm doing. When it comes to holidays, I might just put like a holiday message. In the fall, I would put the hockey schedule on it. But I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing.
Okay.
I joined Canva with you, did the QR code on there and send the last one out, but I still haven't seen anything from it.
So you sent the last one out with the QR code and you looked at the stats and no one's interacting with it. They aren't scanning it.
No, not at all.
Okay. So let me say this. I think 2 years is long enough to understand if it's working or not. What I would say that you might want to think about doing is, are you involved with your local Chamber of Commerce?
No.
Okay.
And so our local Chamber of Commerce is for like the entire town. So I guess I can do that.
Yeah. So, so are you in you're in a suburb or a major city?
I'm major city.
Major city. So let me say this, like we have, the Chicago Chamber of Commerce, but then I also have Bronzeville. I have Hyde Park. We have a couple of local ones, South Shore, Chatham. One of the best things that I ever did for my business was joining the local Chamber of Commerce. And the reason is, one, the fee is nominal. But what the local Chamber of Commerce did, to kind of give you an example, we moved our office from a community called Bronzeville to Hyde Park. Hyde Park is actually the highest price point on the south side of the city of Chicago. And it is a community that does business inside of the community, right? So when I joined the local Chamber of Commerce, it was actually putting me in front of the people of the community a couple of times per month, whether it was their lunch mix, they would have a lunch program, an evening mixer, but it also meant that I had the opportunity to go and attend all the ribbon cutting events. So every new business that was coming, I'm meeting those owners. But what is kind of unique about this area was that they have the Hyde Park Herald newspaper. Well, the Hyde Park Herald newspaper would come to every last one of the events for the Chamber of Commerce. So I ended up with a stack of newspaper because I'm in the Hyde Park Herald. So things get even more interesting. The University of Chicago is housed in Hyde Park. I went to the University of Chicago when they opened the Polsky Center, which is this multi-million-dollar center, got a big time endowment. And I told them, I said, well, I'm a member of the Hyde Park Chamber of Commerce. I think that you should allow me to teach social media classes here at the Polsky Center at the University of Chicago. And they said, okay. That then meant that I was on every television monitor on the campus of the University of Chicago, teaching these classes at the Polsky Center, but it all tied back to me being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, right? Okay. And it changed the business. We were seeing great sales. We got visibility all through Hyde Park. Everyone knows me. Like, I'm considering myself the unofficial mayor. It's not even a mayor of Hyde Park, right? It's an alderman. But I knew everyone because I joined that chamber. Or better yet, they knew me. Thanks. So, and here's the thing. I didn't pay for anything other than joining the organization. That was it. So if you're not seeing anything from those postcards, I would say you want to befriend the chamber and you want to befriend the director of the program. So me and the director were the best of buds. And I'm getting invited to all these events, but I'm meeting people face to face. And it just kept building on itself.
Right.
So
sounds good.
Yeah, I would
got local next door neighborhoods, I think is what they call them. So I'll look into those and see if there's any like community involvement I could get into in their organizations. Because we've got one that does a yearly thing in the summer. They take care, they have events at the park and stuff like that. So, and then they do like a community day, not where I live, where I'm farming, but just a smaller community over. So I can probably look into that.
Let me ask you this question. The community you live in, how do they feel about COVID and masking?
So I am like almost in one of the city parks, and people love being outside and exercising and stuff like that. So when they go to somebody's door, I still would wear a mask and wear gloves or whatever. But people run around outside all the time, and I don't see much of mask wearing around here.
And the reason I asked that question is because if people are running and they're out and they're about, then that means that those same Chamber of Commerce events they haven't been interrupted. Where I'm in the city of Chicago, we still on mask mandate. There's been an interruption to everything going on. You have to show your, right now, today, your vaccination card to get into restaurants. So a lot of people still aren't going to restaurants. So if you're in a city and or town that their approach is different to COVID, then you wouldn't have any interruption in those events. I would definitely leverage that Chamber of Commerce or whatever community organization, because they're going to push you out in front. You're going to get visibility on the website, a publication, and everything that I got from being on the Chamber, I didn't ask for any of it. It was just available, and I took advantage of it.
All righty. So now about you.
Uh-oh.
That was all about me. So now about you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you consider to be your biggest success and why? And what venture did you fail at and what did you learn from it?
So I'm going to give you a different answer than I did Jerry, but let me tell you what I failed at first. So I was born and raised in the restaurant business. I had my first business at the tender age of 10. The reason I had a business at 10 years old is because I asked for one too many pair of designer jeans. And I've always been a planner, right? So in March, before I was going to 5th grade, I already had my back to school list so my mama could save her money to get me all these designer jeans. March, we go back to school in September. And my mother said, "Oh, you don't have underwear, umbrella, gym shoes, socks. You don't have nothing you need. Pajamas, panties. You don't have nothing on this list, right? But these designer jeans." So she was like, "Well, how much are these jeans, Marky?" And I said, "Oh, they're about $40 a piece. Sassoon, Gloria Vanderbilt, Jordache, all on this list." And my mother said, "There's no way. I'm buying you 10 pair of designer jeans at $400. And you go to private school." She was like, She was like, "This is the summer you will start to work." And she put me together a business, and I started selling snowballs in front of Lem's barbecue in order to buy my designer jeans. But then I had to come up with a list. I had to separate my needs from my wants, and I had to pay for all of my needs before I could pay for my wants. Okay. Well, fast forward, I'd been in the family business. And by the time I was 21, I had a restaurant. It was called Looney's Hamburger, and it had been very popular in its heyday. And we bought Looney's Hamburger, my mother and I. Our concession business was doing phenomenal, but the restaurant was not doing good. And I realized I was taking money from the concession business to put into keeping the restaurant open. So my first restaurant actually failed. And as my restaurant is failing, because I'm every bit of 21, I'm saying to myself, "Oh, I need to go to grad school to get a master's degree, because clearly I don't know everything I think that I know." So I'm already talking myself into going to get a master's degree because my restaurant has failed. Now, I will say this. It didn't feel that bad failing in the restaurant business because I still had a successful concession business. But it told me what not to do. And that is to never take money from your good business to try to pour it into a failing business. I learned that relatively early. So I've had a lot of failures, but that right there is what made me go to grad school, because I was quick to realize I didn't know everything I thought my little 21-year-old self knew. When I think about my greatest success, so I told everybody one of my greatest successes was the fact that Skylar is my son, and he's a second generation realtor, and he's a graduate of Howard University, and he's a Kappa, and he's in the business fraternity and all that great stuff. He's a good kid. But if I was going to come back, I would say, so I've been overweight since about the age of 10. And I was telling someone this story earlier. I remember I had missed a day of school. And when we came back to school the day afterwards, we were having a play. And my classmates thought it was funny that I should be the hippopotamus in the play. So I tell my mother, I'm not going to be the hippopotamus because they already calling me fat and all these other names. I'm not going to be the hippopotamus. And my mother said, oh, no, you're going to be the hippopotamus and you're going to be the best hippopotamus of all hippopotamus, right? And she said, you don't allow them to dictate what it is that you do and what you're going to be good at, right? And so one of the things that my mother taught me early on when I started gaining weight, now that we know as a result of having lipedema, was that being overweight can never be my excuse. And so I was a pom-pom girl, a cheerleader, a full-figured model, showboat ham, right, of my class. But I'm also one of the most successful people from my 8th grade graduating class, from my high school graduating class, because I was taught real early that I could not have excuses and that I had to own my nonsense. And my mother was real clear. She was like, whatever you do in the dark, it's going to come to the light. Don't ever allow anybody to make you feel bad for who you are or the things that you do consciously. Own it. She says, and if you own it, they can't say nothing no way. And so the more that I embraced who I am, I've always had a big mouth. They told me I had a big mouth and I'd laugh because I get paid to talk a lot, right? And then it was, well, you're overweight. Yes. And I've aged very well, probably better than most of my friends have. And I tell them because that fat has preserved my butt, right? But then to find out at 50 that I have a fat disorder, and that was something that a lot of it was beyond my control anyway. So what I would say, my failure was that restaurant. And what I am proud about is the fact that I've kept a upbeat, optimistic outlook on all things. And I did not allow naysayers to basically deter me from what it was that I thought that I should be doing. I've always had a mind of my own. I've always been a leader, never a follower. And my grandmother told me that was a good trait to have.
Sure is.
You get me all right. I'm surprised I made it through that without being emotional. Yeah, the hippopotamus thing has come up twice in one day, right? And because people are like, well, how were you able to do all these things? And I'm like, well, first of all, I had a teen unwedded mother who quit her job to go sell hot dogs in the park. My mother demonstrated this. She didn't tell me, this is what you should do. She was consistently demonstrating it for me. And we kind of grew up together because of the 17-year age difference. Mm-hmm. And I was right behind her. She moved to the left. I moved to the left. She put her hip out. I put my hip out. She say something smart. I say something smart. Yes. But I carry her lessons with me everywhere that I go. And I tell people I am never alone. I have the spirit of Hazel with me in all things that I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I had one more question on my side for you. You say that there is no shortage of inventory, just a shortage of homes on the market, which I believe. What tips do you have for creating inventory using direct mail?
So when it comes to direct mail, and I'll tell you the campaign that we're starting with Skylar right now. One, what is the biggest issue where you live? And I don't know if she's on this call out of Georgia, but we talked about in Georgia, I'll give you their example. They have an issue with decks. Right. And so they're getting a lot of deck violations. So you want to identify what is the issue in your city. For me in the city of Chicago, it will be back porches of multifamily structures. That means that through the Freedoms of Information Act, I can go pull all those violations, right? I want people to start identifying the issues that are in their city and what are the rules of the city? Is this public information? Because you want to do a direct mail campaign to people who have issues. You want to solve their problems. So if an issue is flooding in your area, then I want to know who has water damage. If the issue is decks, you want to find out where can I go find out who has an issue with their deck. With me in the city of Chicago, it is back porches. So because so many people didn't pay rent, here would be another issue. The city of Chicago has what we call the real estate landlord tenant ordinance. We are a very tenant friendly city. So it's a lot of people who still have not paid rent. So I want to figure out who's not receiving rent payments. I want to figure out who has a back porch issue. And I said, instead of driving for mastery, we could do driving alley for mastery. A lot of people will clean up and spruce up the front of their properties, but not the back of the property. And I want to jot down those addresses that I'm seeing dilapidated garages. The back porch look like it's fallen in. The grass is not kept up. And I want to mail to those homeowners. So the language we came up with, don't make, never assume that they know, right? So are you robbing Peter to pay Paul? Have your tenants failed to pay you rent in months? Right now is the best time to sell your property in as is condition. You can get the most amount of money right now still for a property that is in as is condition. So identify the pain points of homeowners, and you want to talk to them like you in their head. Right? They like, how does this person know? Well, one, because I looked you up and I understand there's a problem your property is having. And then if you've not had the opportunity, we have 2 recordings on Driving the Dollar Mastery and his follow-up. And this person specializes in wholesaling properties. Now, I'm not an advocate for wholesaling properties, but I believe you should know wholesalers, because every property in your marketplace is not going to fit the needs of the wholesaler. So that means then you could build a referral pipeline from your wholesalers for everything that does not meet their needs. Hey, could you pass that seller on to me and let me see if they want to list the property, since it doesn't meet the needs of a wholesaler because they cannot make their margins. And when what was his name? Zach Booth, had to get you the name. When I interviewed him, I learned so much as a real estate professional, how the wholesaler should be our friends, right? Because they're going to pass on so many things. But he talked about driving for mastery. And I said, in the city of Chicago, because we have all these back porch issues, I shouldn't drive for mastery. I should drive the alley for mastery, because there's some things that you're going to see in the alley that you aren't going to see anywhere else. So don't do what everybody else does. Find that one thing that's unique to you, that is going to solve a problem that no other realtor is solving. And then you can do those direct mail campaigns. And you want the language and everything about it to resonate with that person. So I'll give you an example. Target in South Shore. In South Shore, there are a lot of 2 to 4 units. So when Skylar was initially doing his marketing campaign, he picked some random picture. Well, the picture don't look like the south side of the city of Chicago. I went and I found him a picture of 2 to 4 unit buildings on the south side of the city of Chicago, so that whenever that homeowner looks at that direct mail piece, those buildings look like their building. The language, 100% for them. So, and you want to, every month, you want to hit them again and be consistent to that same group of homeowners. And you want to be the solution to whatever problem they're having. But I would go back and listen to those 2 recordings with Zach Booth, the Driving for Dollar Mastery, and then the follow-up where he tells you how much money he earned. As a result of him, he left the comfort of his home. He went to Florida and did this starting from scratch in a new marketplace because he thought that he could earn so much, a certain amount of money in a very short period of time, and he exceeded that goal.
Cool.
Yep, with Zach Booth.
What self-help books are you reading?
I just got the new Rhonda Rhimes book, the author of The Secret. So I'm reading that. And, did I move it off of here? Oh, here we go right now. And Jesus Calling. Actually, someone inside of the Six Figures in 12 Months, they bought me this. And then I also have the app that goes with that. So those are the two books that I'm reading now. The new book is Health, Love, How to Manifest More Money, Better Health, and Love. And so I thought that that was pretty timely. It's her new release. I have her initial book, The Secret, and then I was doing the Secret app about manifesting money. Because it gives you so much money, you write these checks and you spend so much money. And because you're spending all this money, you're attracting money as well. I would say that it worked. And then just got her new book because she sent me an email that it was being released. So those are the two books that I'm reading right now.
What does Marky do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Origami and paper crafts. So I'm a dancer. I dance all the time. So I don't necessarily think that's what I do for fun. If you pull up to me at the stop sign, I'm dancing. If you see me in the grocery store, I'm dancing. I'm dancing all over as if no one is watching. But I love origami and paper crafts. And the reason is that I can take it with me no matter where I'm going. So I can have me a nice little folder with my paper folding craft for that day or that week. I also crochet and knit, but it's the paper crafts is what I'm really into. So dancing and paper crafts.
All right. And what do you have planned for the near future?
So for the near future, we're going to put out a publication every single month. The publication, of course, will be available to everyone that's in the group. And then, of course, we're going to put those over on Amazon and for digital download on the website. I'm going back to work. I have essentially been at home for 94 days on medical leave or paid time off, call it what you want to call it. So tomorrow I'm driving up to St. John, Michigan, and then I'm hitting the road again the 1st of March. And I am almost sure 3, 6, 9, 12. I'll hit about 12 cities in the month of March. So coming back to work or face-to-face events after being home for 94 days is kind of a big thing for me, but I'm looking forward to getting back out with my fellow realtors, being face-to-face. And because I had 3 surgeries in 65 days, just to continue healing. Before you came on, I've had 4.4 liters of lipedema fat removed from my arms and 6 inches, 5.5 liters from my thighs, and then 3.8 liters from my calf. And so that was real big. And to be able to schedule those surgeries, none of them in the city of Chicago, 2 were in LA, 1 were in Kentucky, to be able to heal and not have any issues, to never take any narcotics, to only take Tylenol through the process. Right now, I'm just so thankful and overwhelmed until I really did not plan a lot of things beyond that other than coming back out because it was taking up so much. It was taking up all my prayer, right? And for it to all go over without one problem. I mean, not one problem, but that was huge to pull that off in the time frame and to do it in my essentially my downtime away from the road. But I had to turn down a lot of jobs also in the process to not rush the process. And so I told myself, Marky, you get one time to do this and do it right. Give yourself enough time. So you will see me coming to a city near you real soon. And just to continue to grow the group and to just keep doing the things that I like doing. and education really excites me. I guess it turns me on to learn something new and then to internalize it and to be able to come back and teach other people to do it. One thing I don't do is tell people to do something I've never done. And so I'm going to try it out and be the guinea pig first before I tell you all to do anything. Okay. Brenda says she posted something. Oh,
they were asking
okay
for the name of the book.
The book. Oh, the new book from, you know what? I bought that book off of Amazon. So hold on. We're going to tell you the name of the new book. Do you have any other questions? And then I'm going to turn the music on. And then I'm going to go get the book.
Yeah, that's it for me, Marky.
That's it. Well, thank you very much.
And I appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going to turn the music on. I don't want anyone to go anywhere because I'm going to go pull this book up off my nightstand because I just put it on the nightstand to make sure that I took care of it. Let me go see if this book is here. Bless and sorry, fam. I think you posted the wrong one. It's the new book, but hold on. I'm going to go over here to Amazon on the computer because my phone was not allowing me to be great and see if I can pull it from my desktop as opposed to trying to pull it from my... it's not letting me be great. So let me turn the music on, guys. Do not move. Let me just go get this book for one hot second. So I was almost right, guys. I thought it was. So it is The Secret of Love, Health, and Money, a master class. So it's right there. We getting ready to get into this. One, I love her. Okay. I just absolutely love her. But let me tell you a little story about this. So Rita Glass, she has passed away from stage 4 cancer. At one point, Rita Glass, Zeke Morris, and I were business partners. Oh, let me say this. And Dr. Sonja Stinson were business partners in a Keller Williams franchise. In 2006, Rita introduced us to the movie The Secret. We had to watch it as owners to manifest for our business. Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Landmark Forum, but Rita was a lead trainer within the Landmark Forum. So she also paid for everybody to go through the Landmark Forum. And oftentimes in my life, I see the Landmark Forum show up in my life, and I see the movie The Secret show up, but it's because of Dr. Rita Glass. It was something that she essentially mandated that we do. And Dr. Sonja Stinson, her family is the Rickett family. So they own Uncle Remus. And then Rita was successful. And Zeke Morris is the first Black president of the Illinois Association of Realtors. And then it was me. So I think we were a really dynamic group of people to end up in a partnership together. And we're still very good friends and still do business together till this day. So The Secret was introduced to me by none other than Dr. Rita Glass. And so I'm thankful to her every single day because she absolutely changed my life. Now, she was rough to deal with, but Rita enhanced the life of those around her if you were willing to receive her and her rawness and candor, because she wasn't sugarcoating anything. So I just wanted to let you know, hey, Rita, she's probably watching over us right now, and all our business dealings because she believed that you could manifest anything. So The Secret to Love, Health, and Money. You know what? We probably need to do something with the movie The Secret. Every time I watch that movie, it's something new to me. I get something new every single time I watch it that I swear I've never seen before. So check your library. I don't think you got to buy it. Somebody has that movie available for you for free, and do it with your family. Skylar has had to watch the movie The Secret. Everybody in my house has. And then Skylar's also a graduate of the Landmark Forum. I sent him as a teenager, and I see parts of Landmark show up in his life, especially when he takes accountability and he manifests what he wants in his life. So I appreciate you.